What's up, folks? Time for another episode of Beyond the Algorithm. And I'm solo right now. Some other guests are probably going to join me, but if they don't, it's cool because we got something that we need to discuss big time. And the topic of the night is going to be about the culture. But before we even get there, I want to go ahead and say hats off to FSU for opening up the college football season with a W and, putting the L in Alabama. Took a fantastic, glorious L in Doak Walker Stadium. Enough of that. Yo, so at some point we're going to get to the video, right? But I wanted to be able to say what I needed to say before we move forward. Tonight, I want you guys that are hanging out with me up a little bit late that are looking to call in to feel free to lock in. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna have a discussion tonight about the culture of what we think African American culture actually is, how it impacts the way we see ourselves, and is it sustainable? Is it going to take us forward? What do we benefit from it? And I'm gonna play a reference video right now, just so we can have the same conversation. But let's get to
In
it.
this country are the only groups. They have no culture. It depends on who you meet, where you meet them.
But currently, there's not an African American culture.
No.
Yes, there is.
What is it? Name two value systems in the African American culture.
Value
Name,
system?
yes. Name two taboos in the African American culture system. Name two traditions, by the way, in the African American culture system. There is no value for freedom if you don't understand what it is. The concept of free. You have to have a foundation on which it would balance when you ask for it. Civil right, they give it to you. You have no culture. Nancy, you've been here, born here. Why would you be surprised if I say African Americans don't have a culture? What, twerking? So anything
But I feel like African American culture has definitely
you say
mainstream.
No, you say the word, the African American culture. What is it? Okay, fine.
Like hip hop.
Oh,
not
Jesus
hip hop.
Christ.
I mean, I don't want to.
Look,
Yes, I feel like
you haven't thought about it. It's fine. Don't make things up.
I'm not making it up.
Okay,
I feel like
then educate me. You feel. You should know. You were born and raised here.
Yes, but I have a. Haitian,
Are you African American?
I'm Haitian American.
That's correct. Do you see why you were being specific with that? Because anybody who encounters you already knows you before. If they know you are Haitian, at least two things comes to their mind.
What is that?
If they've been to Haiti, they can look at work ethics and they say, yes, Haitians, I know them. Service industry, they know where they do well. Food, they can say yes. And even language, Creole.
Right.
And they can say, oh, I love Haitians. Because they saw the culture in abstract before they encountered you. So people go over the bridge of your culture, your tradition, your customs, and that helps them to know how to
address me.
Exactly. I'm saying to you, any people who ask for these things, which are abstract, freedom, for example, independence, for example, and civil right, for example, voting right, for example, you must have a foundation on which these things are going to balance. Because the people there have to uniformly agree with consensus. This is our way of life. The do's and the don'ts involved in our culture. Even if you have to create an artificial culture.
Is that why the civil rights movement is considered dead?
It's dead and useless.
So, culture. Very interesting perspective on that. And it is one that is left to us to define to some degree. Now, whether it makes sense to define it, we have to have some boundaries to decide how we want to go about it. So I threw this together real quick. We're going to talk about these topics as we go. And I wanted to highlight this specifically. Culture and influence are not the same things. A lot of people confuse and or conflate culture and influence. They conflate the both of them. Culture has a structure away from popular approval. Culture is localized. Influence is based on who is inspired. For instance, black people make every fashion and entertainment expression cool or acceptable. That's influence. Culture implies that a group of people have the ability to maintain their individual identity as a community by prioritizing the protection of the members of their community. There are codes of conduct in culture. Influence is how others see you. Culture is what you live by. Culture is based on how people treat each other. Culture is based on integrity. Culture is based on accountability and discipline. To the people that disagree with him, how would you have answered him? How would you explain African American culture to him? I have only heard criticism of his opinions, but how would you educate him? African American culture is matriarchal at its foundation. Africa is the motherland, and the culture is over mothered. The fact that we don't have a universal agreement amongst Black Americans in this thread proves his opinions, proves his points, or justifies his position. We don't have to like it, but he is having a completely different conversation for his own reasons. African American culture is human trafficking, in my opinion. African American culture is surviving human trafficking. It's decentralized at best. We don't even have family, we don't even value family enough to have a culture to defend. There's no consequences or ability to uphold anyone accountable as Black people in America. That's my take on things. You know, whether it's a hot take or not, how it's perceived, that's not the point. It's the challenge because there are going to be multiple people in this conversation at some point that agree or disagree for whatever reasons they have, but the source of their disagreement is also another example of the conflict that we have about what culture actually is within the Black community, especially as African Americans, and how we are viewed outside of our own confines is an example of what we put out into the world, how people see us, and how they digest what African American culture actually is. I've had plenty of friends that I respect whose opinions, whether they agree or disagree with me, I I accept how they see Black people from where they see Black people. So, in order to make the conversation worth having, it's only right that I put out how I feel about things, you know, because I'm open to having my opinion changed. I am of the opinion that you don't have culture without discipline. I am of the opinion that you do not have culture without accountability. I am of the opinion that it is necessary for us to bring hard topics to discussion in the culture that I would respect. So instead of looking for the culture that I would respect, I choose to use my platform to be the culture of respect. And my respect and my culture is based on discipline because I'm a firm believer that there's nothing that you add discipline to that gets worse. If I was looking for a standard of how to move as a man, a black man specifically, what universal standard exists that black men should follow? I'm not saying there isn't one. I'm saying that I'm simply asking what would be acceptable to the mass majority. Now, with those things being mentioned, I want you to really let that marinate. I want you to think about the time when you were young and you became a man. And did you decide that you were a man, or was there some sort of standard that you followed? Was there some threshold of competency that was passed by you that was already set before you were a man? Was there something that you trained for to be a man? What was the standard that you can relate to or reflect on, the metrics that were set for you to be able to say that you're a man? What was it? What was the culture around that conversation? You know, that's what I want to know, because in there I mentioned human trafficking being America's culture. I believe black people are the survivors of human trafficking. I do understand and respect the FBA. Shout out to my man Tony, Realer Than Real, with Wealth is Gangster. Shout out to him. And there's a couple other people that I can name when they show up. But in this particular monologue, I want us to focus on what are the things that capture culture amongst African Americans. Now, what I believe is rooted in something completely different that most people probably wouldn't care about. But I believe that discipline is another word that captures any boundary that makes sense to protect. I think that you have to have something worthy of defending. And I think your women, your children, your education system, everything that makes who you are attractive to other people is what captures culture. I think that I also think that there's a big difference between influence and culture. Influences are things that make you popular to everybody else. Culture is a guideline. It is a foundational means of protecting yourself, meaning you don't see you don't see people dressing up as those of another ethnic group to mimic their behavior and say that you're just like them. Not without consequence. And the consequence is usually, I wouldn't say necessarily catastrophic, but it's felt in some kind of way. There's a means to an end. There's an ability to inflict consequence. Like for instance, cancel culture. See how I said cancel culture? There's a means or an ability or set of logistics that one can employ to dox and cancel someone that goes against the culture. And I'm saying all of that because I want folks to think about, who can black people cancel outside of black people? Whose quality of life, image can we, I guess, cancel? Now, the beauty of being black, we can't be canceled. They tried canceling us. We can't even cancel each other. People can't even cancel their exes. black people can't even cancel the pedophiles in their families. They can't even cancel toxic relationships. So we're already living in whatever zone they keep cancels in. That's what we live at, in my opinion, based on what I see and how we interact with one another. How else should we look at it? So, how would you explain to the man in that video the best way to to show what African American culture is? Shout out to my man Dion. What's up, homie? You know what I'm saying? What's up with it, big dog? You know what we got going on? See, I became a man when I stood for what was right. Yeah, it came a principle thing, right? My man said I told my mama to cut the BS. I stood up against my culture and the straight mentality. Wealth is health and protecting the unprotected. So my man chose a principle driven way of thinking, living, and being. Because culture is the way you live your life, right? That's what a lot of people aren't really saying. And I mentioned before, people conflate culture and influence. The style of dress that people adopt and appropriate from black people isn't culture. That's just expression. That's just influence. Culture is about the way you live your life. I lived in multiple Muslim countries, and universally, the way that they function is that they pray 5 times a day. Yep, 5 times a day. They pull that prayer rug out. They face Mecca. They pray in total submission to a higher authority spiritually. It's no guesswork. They know what's going to happen at 5 in the morning when the chant come on. No matter where they are, if you can simulate the sound of that, they give an honor to their creator based on what their culture says they should do. There's some other things that may not be culturally acceptable in other places, but it ain't meant to be acceptable. It ain't. So because it ain't acceptable, they don't mean they got to change to accommodate anybody. What's
What's
up with
up
it,
with
Fred?
it?
Yo, what's going on, bro?
Oh, you can hear me? That's good. What's
Yeah,
going
man.
on?
Man, tonight's discussion, man, we talking about what is African American culture. Because I saw a video that I'm gonna play for you in a minute, so you can get caught up to the
African American
conversation.
culture is trash. Let me
Woo,
see what I need to do. What I need to be adding people.
man, look, you probably got to go back to the Facebook timeline to add folks. You know what I'm saying? Or better yet, you can go into where I added you as a co-host on the Facebook invite, and then what I'm saying, add some people from there.
I don't see the same shit that I usually see.
Hmm. Maybe it might be because I already just went live or whatever. So, but yeah, man, I'm gonna play this video for you just so you can get caught up. All right.
But they could not balance it on any foundation.
Hmm. Wait a minute now. Let me bring you back. You ready?
African Americans in this country are the only groups. They have no culture. It depends on who you meet, where you meet them.
But currently, there's not an African American culture.
No.
Yes, there is.
What is it? Name 2 value systems in the African American culture.
Value
Name,
system?
yes. Name 2 taboos in the African American culture system. Name 2 traditions, by the way, in the African American culture system. There is no value for freedom if you don't understand what it is. The concept of free You have to have a foundation on which it would balance when you ask for it. Civil right, they give it to you. You have no culture. Nancy, you've been here, born here. Why would you be surprised if I say African Americans don't have a culture? What, twerking? So anything
But I feel like African American culture has definitely
you say
mainstream.
No, you say the word, the African American culture. What is it? Okay, fine.
Like hip hop.
Oh,
not
Jesus
hip hop. I mean, I don't want to.
Look,
yes, I feel like
you haven't thought about it. It's fine. Don't make things up.
I'm not making it up.
Okay,
I feel like
then educate me. You feel. You should know. You were born and raised here.
Yes, but I have a Haitian.
Are you African American?
I'm Haitian American.
That's correct. Do you see why you were being specific with that? Because anybody who encounters you already knows you before. If they know you are Haitian, at least two things comes to their mind.
What is that?
If they've been to Haiti, they can look at work ethics and they say, yes, Haitians, I know them. Service industry, they know where they do well. Food, they can say yes. And even language, Creole.
Right.
And they can say, oh, I love Haitians. Because they saw the culture in abstract before they encountered you. Mm-hmm. So people go over the bridge of your culture, your tradition, your customs, and that helps them to know how to
address me.
Exactly. I'm saying to you, any people who ask for these things, which are abstract, freedom, for example, independence, for example, and civil right, for example, voting right, for example, you must have a foundation on which these things are going to balance. Because the people there have to uniformly agree with consensus. This is our way of life. The do's and the don'ts involved in our culture. Even if you have to create an artificial culture.
Is that why the civil rights movement is considered dead?
It's dead and useless. They got it, but they could not balance it on any foundation.
What you got, bro? How you feel about that?
It makes sense. It makes the sense that it makes sense. It makes sense.
What rebuttals do you have to that?
Basically, he was saying that African Americans, we don't have culture, because we have appropriated everybody else's. Because we speak English, but I would argue that Black people have created a culture, and in this culture moved the needle where they even have the opportunity to say things that they say. Like it wouldn't be the Black men are the vanguards of freedom.
Yeah. How would you define culture in your words, though?
Something that's being cultivated.
Okay. Because so here's like a short definition that I have, right? Culture is what you live by, and everything how other people see you is influence. Meaning, like, other people that want to dress the same way that they see African Americans dress, right? They want to perform in the entertainment industry the same way that they see African Americans. That's influence, right? Culture is what you live by. Meaning, like, you're not going to make any type of sacrifice or move it if it's outside of the culture of the way that you was brought up, or whatever culture that you establish for the way that you take care of your family, because even then, from family to family, you probably not going to raise your kids the way that you was raised, right? Because you create a
Right.
different culture in your own household, right? So I believe that African Americans have largely a decentralized culture. There's some things that we probably universally agree on as just actually foul. We might fight amongst ourselves, but there's some things we can probably come collectively together and whoop your ass about. You know what I'm saying? If you outside of the identity that we feel comfortable with, would you agree with that?
I mean, yeah, I get it. I mean, the culture is It's not anything to brag about, though.
Yeah, like so I guess what parts of African American culture do you think are worth protecting amongst African Americans?
I don't know, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't. I would have said a long time ago. I would have said this a long time ago. It was the music. It was overcoming oppression. It was overcoming slavery. It was these things. But when you look at this degenerate ass fucking culture today, man, fuck black culture, fuck African American culture today. Anything okay? Anything 1964 on back? Oh, I'm with that shit. I mean, we had movement. We was progressive, man. We made steps in the right direction, man, that liberated us. But all this other shit, this single mama culture, this baby daddy culture, this gangster motherfucking culture, man, fuck all them niggas.
So do
It
you
ain't.
think I think it's a bunch of individual cultures. I like the way that you was breaking that down because like everybody ain't with the same shit. And I think that one of the things that I just said is like I believe African American culture starts at the top is decentralized, meaning everybody has a chance to pick what makes sense for their own household. They get to cultivate that, like you were talking about before. You know, you can't move the same way. Like you talk about Pine Bluff, Arkansas all the time, right? You can't move in Pine Bluff the way that you move in Chicago or Arizona or Atlanta or whatever else, right?
Man, it's the same game, different name.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when things get to a point of where culture, you know, is just a collective thinking. So you can't have culture if it's not a group, if it's not a group effort. Like there's no all these little subcultures don't really mean shit. At the end of the day, being black means black culture, nigga, is exactly what it is. It's gang banging, it's twerking, it's prostitute, it's hustling, all the street shit. That is really black culture today. Black culture is street shit. Even if I mean, you know how many motherfucking people I know that listen to stripper music and gangbanger music, nigga, while they go drive to their 9 to 5 in the morning. Like, nigga, I mean, this shit is way more bigger than motherfuckers just it's separate lives. You can't even take the thing that they pump in their ears, they don't even live every day, but they embrace it subconsciously. Even I mean, even when you look at like even black women and black men, like when they get into these educated fields, a lot of them there's a big subculture of educated hood rats.
Huge. And a lot of them got babies by men that read with their fingers on the paper. You are absolutely right when it comes down to it, because I think culture is definitely centered around activity too. So that goes back to the point where you're talking about subcultures, right? And people got a choice to align with whatever makes sense for how they was raised. So one of the I think one of the things that the guy brought up was like a lot of the abstract things that we try to center around. Most black culture, I think if you have one word to capture it, it'll be abstract.
Hold up 1 second. We got Cali West and we got Jalen Bossway in the building. Shout out to them brothers, man. Shout out to them, man, them shakers, man, them game changers.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, we need to get them. Hey, look, tell them cats to that they can hear me if they or if you can relay the message. I inboxed Cali to get on the stream. He got the link to the spot. You know what I'm saying? So he can come on in if he want to run his mouth for a few minutes or whatever and talk about it. You know, I just wanted to broach the topic, man, because like if we supposed to be moving this whole thing forward, we trying to build a Legion of Doom, right? We trying to say we trying to get in our pocket and say fuck what everybody else feel, right? We gonna put out what we gonna put out. We feel how we feel individually about our own journeys, right? But we recognize the need to leave space for other men that respect other men. This is part of that conversation because we got to determine what our culture gonna look like. That's one of the main reasons why I set out to create what I created with my content. You know what I'm saying? Between coming up with accountable masculinity and putting the book out, creating a Facebook group and putting the book out, putting my stamp on what I say when I say it and where I say it at, no matter what the camera got going on, whether it's on my Facebook page, whether it be, you know what I'm saying, on my YouTube channel, whatever. Even this very conversation is about hardworking men trying to be better than what they was the last time, you know what I'm saying, that we had a chance to improve, right? We trying to outdo ourselves from where we left off, right?
What Jalen about the one thing about Jalen is in Cali West, they challenge black culture. You know what I'm saying? Jalen got haters. He got motherfuckers that hate his motherfucking guts because he speaks against what motherfuckers like to glorify in black culture. Even consciousness, even niggas that call themselves conscious have a little bit of ratchet that they try to hold on to.
Yep. I really want to get Jalen up here too, man. I want Jalen and Cali West to show up on this thing, man. You know what I'm saying? If they can get up here. You know, I just sent out the StreamYard link, man. Look, we don't even need but a few minutes, you know what I'm saying, if they got it. Because like you just said, man, when you start calling out people by name, bro, we the movers and the shakers. We ain't waiting on nobody to promote us. We got to promote ourselves, you know. And it ain't coming from no self-serving position. It's like, yo, we know we can do better because ultimately every day we collaborate, and communicate to be better than what we was the day before. You know what I'm saying? The minute before we picked up the phone with each other, and the minute before we hung up the phone with each other, the goal was to capture each other's spirit in a different way, so we can say, you know what, man, I need to make this tweak. There's a level of wisdom that I'm missing. Maybe I got to give it today. Maybe I need to receive the wisdom today. You know what I'm saying? But like at no point is there adversarial mind, you know, against my brothers. The issue
Man,
is
fuck it out, nigga. It is an adversarial mind against them niggas.
against
I ain't
them.
like you niggas. Man, fuck y'all niggas. If y'all reading this motherfucking shit, if you watching this shit right now, if there's ever an organization to join to fuck you niggas up, I'm going to join that motherfucker. All you gang banging, all you motherfucking twerkers, all you strippers, you sex worker bitches that want to raise kids, all you bitches that keep kids away from their daddies, all you niggas that protect the worst bitches in the world. I hate you niggas. And I will really, it will serve me, it'll give me great joy to knock you niggas off the face of the fucking planet.
Oh man.
You senseless murdering ass niggas. I would love nigga to blow your shit back. I think the new hustle should be putting life insurance on your motherfucking crash out reckless ass cousins. Because they gonna die. They is gonna die. It's just a matter of time.
Man, look, the way you just broke that down is like it captures what the mission is, man, because those are the people that make it hard for everybody else that's trying to do the right thing. Like it took so long for us as upstanding black men to try to have a conversation without other black men calling people coons. Like it's gotten to the point where we sound like racist white men when we talking about doing better. You know, it's gotten to the point where we can't even have a conversation without conflict with certain people. You know, like now we've stepped completely to the side. It's like fuck y'all. Like y'all don't like us anyway, so why should we be nice? Why should we make room for you when all you want is the ability to do whatever you want to do at the expense of everybody else? Who's supposed to pay the cost on that? You know what I'm saying? And I find myself, I study a lot of people that generally don't have a message that likes black people. Because if you just listen to nothing but us, it would get kind of confusing if you didn't have any other type of experience, right? Let's say if you never left home and all you listened to was the people that you grew up with. Your perspective on where you are is going to be defeatist at some point because you're only learning from somebody that ain't never left home, ain't never did shit else but disagree or criticize somebody else and say, oh, they probably got some kind of negative agenda. Everybody don't have a scam behind what they say.
Shit. But shit, when you dealing with black folks, even black business, don't nobody want to support black motherfucking business. Y'all give us the motherfucker. You give us a whole lot of nothing for a lot in return.
You got a story that go with what you're saying?
Hell yeah, every black business I pretty much ever go to, man. You hear somebody talking about support black business. You go to a goddamn food truck. A lot of times you go these motherfuckers, you paying $25 for a motherfucking bowl this goddamn big. And then they want to say, well, thank you, brother. I appreciate your business. Fuck that. I support good business. I don't give a fuck that you get ashy and you listen to motherfucking Sexy Red, bitch. You gonna give me some good goddamn service. But there's been many a times, more than I could count, where I done went to and supported a black business and got the most goddamn dollar store experience I've ever had, man. I ain't even gonna say the dollar store because you know what you're getting out the dollar store. You don't know what you're gonna get out of these niggas.
Yo, it's got to be had that way, you know. You want to be able to go to bat. You do. And part of the conflict that I recognized when I was doing the work to write Accountable Masculinity, decide what kind of Facebook group I was going to build, and all of that was, you know what? I do know that there are black people that believe in the utopia, and by the utopia, you know what I mean? It's the most perfect scenario possible for black people to be able to trust each other, right? With the most support and all of that. And I soon started to realize that, like, you can only deal with certain people on certain behaviors. For instance, like you made a post the other day, right? Talking about not sleeping around with the wrong women. You remember that post? And then there was a dude that was in the comments. I think we both were like mutual friends of, I know I've had some interaction with that cat. And you said something very plain. If you like cheating on your old lady, don't get the fuck away from around me. In so many words, I'm paraphrasing, right? Because you don't want to be around no man that lack integrity with his own woman. If he'd have made a complete commitment to her, right? Because if he can't uphold his agreement with that particular woman that he committed to, that he lay down with, he ain't gonna hold his commitment nowhere. And I'm giving Cliff Notes. I don't remember in its entirety, but do you remember the type of post that you had made?
Yes, I remember the post that I did. I said, man, if a man cheats on his wife, don't trust that nigga. You could pull it up on my Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could definitely do that. Yeah. Yep. And unfortunately, the fact that you even had to say that, and then the fact that the dude came back multiple times to try to give these paragraphs of explanation, it was like, bruh, it's simple. There ain't no reason for you to be a man and trying to justify this behavior, just leave a chick. If you got to do all that justification, you don't need to be in a relationship.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think the post would do more speaking than anything, because
what's one of the sleeping around? Let me see here. I'm gonna find it real quick. I'm looking for it. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, man. It was straightforward, and I thought it was one of the things that needed to be addressed, needed to be said, and yet and still we had some guys. Well, this one particular guy, when I find the post, and I let everybody else see it. You know what I'm saying, when I find it. But is that not straightforward enough?
What more do you need?
What more do you need? Because you wouldn't want that happening to your son, and you wouldn't want that happening to your daughter. You would hope that they cared about being with somebody solid enough they'll protect them from the most vulnerable access. If you give
Well, it's the thing is, I believe cheating is always based on agreement, and if you breaking an agreement, I don't like you, nigga.
Mm-hmm.
If you not solid, if you don't say what you mean what you say, I don't want nothing to do with you, family, friend, cousin, husband, nigga, girlfriend, wife. I don't give a fuck. Get out my life. I don't want to deal with anybody that's wishy, motherfucking washy. It is like, you can go gamble with that nigga. If you think that Tyrone is a hell of a guy and he still cheats on his motherfucking wife, fist bump that nigga and watch him do it to you down the line. I'm not finna be the nigga to do it.
Right.
I can't have that nigga in my goddamn circle. I can't have, he too motherfucking dangerous. I mean, I can't do the shit that this woman is doing for him. If she's sucking your dick and you ain't loyal, I ain't got shit coming.
I got nothing for you.
I ain't got nothing. I can't do it.
Because it's much deeper.
I can't compete with that.
Yeah, it's much deeper than what people think. You know what I'm saying? In that regard, because the bottom line is, it's like, if you get some head, don't even keep you stable. Can't nothing keep you stable. Rule number 16: if he's not loyal to his wife, that foul breaking ass nigga ain't loyal to nobody. Don't make him a friend. So let me get in the comments. You know what I'm saying? So we can have the discussion that goes with what we're talking about. Because all of this stuff is part of Black culture. Here's what I said. I said they are untrustworthy men. After a certain age, you got to be faithful to someone or something. If you'll lie to the woman that you put your dick in, you'll lie about anything. Some being said, totally agree with your original point. So I would consider them being cowards, not wanting to be honest about wanting poly out of fear of their woman, society, or whatever reason, that don't keep it real and choose instead to sneak. You said exactly. Even the women said, I definitely understand your point and why it's important and why that's important. I also see that many have social definitions of words like loyalty, commitment, faithful, etc. None of these terms specifically states for only one person, only one standard, only one conviction. People with multiples in their lives should understand that a bit more, multiple children, jobs, responsibilities, and etc. I think due to modern social constructs, expectations, and definitions changing, the actual may have lost the courage to be honest from the start. I think,
and that is Tamika Thomas.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Put some respect on her name.
Shout out to Tamika Thomas. You know what I'm saying? Hell. we want to go ahead and hit them with the notes because we need to give applause and flowers wherever we get it at, right?
Yeah, big round of applause for that one, because that was articulate as fuck. And then here comes somebody else who doesn't have who just don't want to take accountability.
Okay. Who I run with, judging my situation from the outside looking in, ain't the kind of fella I would want to befriend. But I'm old school, traditional, never interfere between man and a woman. That's just a man that chase vagina.
Nigga, the fact of the matter is, nigga, you put your shit dick in an ain't shit bitch and you sneaking around. Whatever.
Yep. Yeah, whatever that is. Derrick Jackson is a great example, and those hoes still gonna fuck with him. Yeah, I mean, because that's but this is what I talk about. You know, you see me say sexually disciplined and sexually undisciplined. The same type of man that put out the negative vibe that you would never trust as a friend, the women that those men attract are untrustworthy women also. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't attract someone better than you, bro. You really can't, because even if you did, you wouldn't recognize it until you got somebody worse than you.
I don't know, because sometimes, nigga, you can. I've been an ain't shit nigga.
We'll talk about it.
And I done snuck in some women's beds. That was good.
And when I say better, what I'm talking about is self-esteem.
Like self-esteem. I mean, I get it. Self-esteem has its place, but the fact is that you can be. Everybody has a low point.
Yeah, I get that.
They say water seeks its own level, so everybody has a low point, bro.
Yeah,
there ain't nobody that don't have a valley inside of them.
Understood. Let's see here.
Because I know a lot of good niggas that got nothing but good women. I mean, a lot of fucked up niggas that got good women.
Mm-hmm. But if they can't see it, then does it matter?
What do you mean?
Okay.
If no, it don't change it. It don't change it.
It don't change it. Hear what I'm saying. If they a good woman, they probably really perceptive, probably very patient, and they respect the highs and lows of a relationship. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, but it just be a sense of male entitlement at that point. Like, I had so many good women at one point, I thought that's what I was always gonna get.
I can understand that. Yeah. Understood.
But then I ran across a bitch.
Well, you got a story that go with that. You know, I give you the floor, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I can always tell when something is coming up. Maybe it ain't now.
All right, go ahead.
You want the floor? I got you.
It's story time.
Let's go.
So check this out, bro. I met this woman online, right? Now I'm living in Tucson, Arizona at the time. And I had this good girl. I mean, this girl did everything I asked her to do. She was an average looking girl, but she was still she was pretty, and she did everything I wanted her to do. She didn't have no children, and I was her only focus in life. I left her to go be with some chick that got 3 kids by 2 different niggas in Baltimore, motherfucking Maryland.
Woo.
Can you say sucker shit, chat? If you think that this is some sucker shit, drop a lollipop in the chat. Just bring that bitch with goddamn suckers.
Oh, man.
Oh, you laughing a little bit too hard back there, man.
Hey, my bad. Hey.
It is what it is. So, boom. Boom. The woman with no kids, younger than this woman, I left in order to be with another one. Now, the girl that I left her for was bad. Even to this day, she bad. Still bad. But she had a bad situation. Nigga, I get out there, I'm doing all causing all the hell down here with old girl in Tucson. I'm trying to bring that same hell, nigga, the same energy and the same flaws to this bitch. You think she was accepting that?
Hell no.
In her house?
No, ain't no way.
With 3 boys?
Come on, man.
In Baltimore, Maryland.
Mm-mm.
Nigga, I get into it with this motherfucker. This bitch throw my motherfucker, all my clothes in the middle of the street. Nigga start robbing my shit, nigga, while it was in the street. I'm catching flights back to Kansas City, having to live with my motherfucking dad and all this other weird ass shit, coming back to the bitch because she casted a spell on my penis.
Whew.
I'm thinking I'm getting over. I'm running game. I'm doing. Look, if you want me to come back, send me $7,000. Nigga, I ain't trying to hear that shit. Do you think she sent it?
She probably did.
She did.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got there, do you think she changed?
No.
So, and she will say that I was her turning point. I'm the reason why she found a new level of spirituality. Well, yeah, I went from that situation to a worser situation. But we're gonna leave it right there. But shit, yeah, nigga. A good girl, nigga, shit. You can leave a good girl and go to a bad motherfucker, and they ain't gonna tolerate that motherfucking same shit, boy.
Yeah, bro. Like it got to be some kind of standard. You know what I'm saying? If a woman knows what her value is, for sure she could have that valley, that moment, like you were saying before. There's some ups and downs, but eventually somebody gonna come out of whatever zone they in and deal with it the way they want to deal with it, not just the way it's being presented to them. You know. But there's some people that never get that chance to get out of the valley before they didn't, you know what I'm saying, made a decision they can't recover from. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And old girl, shit, she was a good woman. She ended up finding a good man too, and got married. And I fucked around and just found other fucked up bitches.
Yeah. You don't have that much room in your life for a healthy relationship when you do the math on it, right? Let's just say, would you agree that the average relationship probably lasts 2 to 4 years or 3 to 5?
Man, them relationships, them situationships, man, them ain't shit.
All right. So how many of those can you have in your life as an adult before it's too much, or it's a wrap?
It's too much. It was too much when it was before you knew it was too much.
Yep, but a lot of people don't know when it's too much.
If you ain't never been married, you there.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
You just in that. Ain't no 1, 2, 3, bitch. If you not motherfucking married, because what thing you gotta understand is that relationships are seasons. You know what I'm saying? Or eras in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could be with a motherfucker for 8 years, and if they wasted your time, nigga, they just wasted your time.
That's true.
No, that's some real shit. Like all these women out here talking about, I was engaged, bitch. You didn't get the finish line. You still that still ain't shit. Bitch, you just a glorified fucking girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
You nigga, what's that shit call on their head? You just a girlfriend with a tiara. On some real shit. If you don't get that championship motherfucking ring, nigga, and he ain't going before God saying this is the woman I want, nigga, you suck at life. You got and your pussy can't be that good. How you gonna have a pussy that you give a nigga for a nigga over goddamn 1,000 days and you still ain't get the nigga to get to go to the goddamn courthouse? You been sucking, fucking, getting a sore throat for no fucking reason. So Somebody need to call Donald Duck and Porky the Pig because you was a goofy bitch. Everybody laughs at you. You need to be laughing at your fucking self. The greatest thing a woman have is her beauty, her fertility, and her fucking youth. And you didn't let that nigga suck it all up. He didn't gave you all them goddamn stray kids. He didn't gave you all them goddamn stretch marks where your goddamn belly looked like an oatmeal pie. Yeah. And the worst of it all, you got all the trauma that comes along with it. And trauma always go back to the place that it started, right? Bro, all you get out of new relationships, bitch, is new trauma. Now, would you rather go through the same thing? Would you rather go through 20 things with one nigga, or would you rather go through one thing 20 times with 20 different niggas? I mean, that's the real fucking question here. Like, you bitches get all we're just gonna call you a fucking landfill because all these niggas have the opportunity of dumping their trauma on you. That's why y'all be saying all kind of weird shit. Oh, he got a small dick. He got a big dick. How do you know? Funky bitch, why do you got so much experience? You bitch and then have so much dick pussy confused. You bitch need to keep Summer's Eve in your pocket. That's right. That is absolutely. So yeah, so let's knock it off, man.
Man, yo, it's like when women say all men cheat, what they really saying is all women are side chicks. Because yeah, because let me explain. Because in your post, what we're reviewing right now in the comments, is that you don't trust men that ain't faithful to their old ladies, right? Especially they married them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, on the other side of that conversation, plenty of women are known for saying all men cheat. And why they say that is because it justifies them being a side chick. So if all men cheat, that means all women are side chicks. That means they mama side chicks. That means they sisters, they aunts, anything that like meat is a side chick. Because all men don't cheat. Because like if we gonna say all men cheat, then we gotta say all women cheat because all men gotta cheat with somebody.
All men cheat. There's not enough niggas to not say that they don't. Like I'm not gonna say because I'm this exception to the fucking rule, or because I was me and three other niggas.
I think all men have cheated, and I think
all men collectively cheat, even if we are not included. We are not enough to say that all these niggas. We are not enough to change the conversation. I know when I go to women, I say all men cheat. Do you cheat? No, I don't. But it's not enough of niggas that be on that type of time that I be on to not do it.
Do you think it's not enough men, or do you think it's not enough women that's
these niggas sellouts, man. They don't have no sexual discipline. Like, not even be 100% real. These niggas have an opportunity to get their dick wet, they gonna do it. They don't care if it look like a baby dinosaur. I'm telling you, man, ugly girls running around here cocky right now because some nigga she wasn't never supposed to get dick by a nigga, then gave it to her. And that is honest. So all men cheat, man. If you want me to bet my motherfucking bottom dollar that this nigga ain't gonna slip his dick, nigga, in that motherfucking and that rhinoceros, you is out your motherfucking mind, nigga.
Hey, look,
If we got 10 niggas in the room, if we had 10 niggas, how many of these niggas would you bet that would not put their dick off in a big booty booger wolf?
2.
All men cheat, nigga. We not finna talk about 20%, nigga. We just not finna do it.
Hey, 2.
Yeah, and that same thing with the same ratio of good women out there, nigga, that's gonna stay true to her morals. So yeah, all women are hoes and all niggas cheat.
Fair. And that's why I was saying if all men cheat, that means all women are side chicks.
I mean, sister wives, shit, if you really think about it, when that's from a biblical standpoint, there's nothing more marriage than having kids.
It's true.
2 people coming together, becoming one flesh, that's marriage, nigga. There's nothing more marriage than that, nigga. Ain't a piece of paper.
Nothing makes 2 people become one flesh than children.
Nothing. I don't give a fuck who you married. That's why I don't like. That's why I be talking about niggas that marry bitches that have kids. Like nigga, that ain't really your wife. Nigga, that is somebody that got the most that maximized her the most. It's like getting a vehicle, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You driving that motherfucker goddamn gently. You driving the vehicle gently. This nigga was motherfucker monster truck driving that motherfucker. That nigga was off-roading in that bitch. Hey, you hear me?
Jumping
you
over
here,
dunes.
You over here jumping. I ain't respectfully, man. Like, nigga, I see, nigga, if the body is the vehicle, whoever she gave the babies to, nigga, that is almost death in itself. If you watch some woman have children, then you understand that they almost die every time they do it, bro. So there's nothing that's gonna live forever more than even if somebody dies.
Right.
Somebody is going to have some kids that show up to the funeral that look like the motherfucker in the casket.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever is being passed down is going to go to the kids. That's just how the game is. And motherfuckers don't see it from that perspective. We have turned we have turned something sacred into something casual.
Yeah. I can understand that.
It literally creates anybody that's watching right now was fucked into existence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nigga, somebody got horny. That's the only reason why we talking right now. Because the only reason why me and you is talking right now is because a nigga got horny.
Man, yo, my boy Chris, he's so stupid. He said that the having a baby is equivalent of being dragged down the street by a car going 45 miles an hour.
Yeah, look like it. When I seen that motherfucker, shout out to Ocho Solo, Anthony, Ron. Shout out to everybody on here. Yeah, man, that's some real shit.
Yeah.
It's some real shit, man. The trauma they go through to have a child, nigga, if that don't make you close. And that makes me think too, like, if a motherfucker can have your baby and leave and she can be with somebody else that don't give her that shit, these bitches don't give a fuck. They'll leave anybody.
Oh, ain't nothing can keep them there now.
If you leave your baby daddy, shit, you'll leave anybody, bitch.
Mm-hmm. Yo,
If you,
you know, like, and when I say that respectfully because until recent history with the internet, social media specifically, we haven't been able to have the collective conversations that we have now that say, hey, you've been experiencing the same thing. You know, I didn't know that you was dealing with that.
shut up, suffer in silence, bitch.
But like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
where we are now, though, as men as a collective, the conversation is much different now. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of men that couldn't get out of their car in the driveway before they walked in the house. You know what I'm saying? To deal with whatever the problems that they got in underneath their own roof. And then when they start hearing other men dealing with the same thing, they're like, wait a minute. They sit back just like I just did then. They say, man, you got the same problem. You got the same problem. I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm not doing no extra stuff. Wait a minute. We got to have a meeting. And that's kind of like where things have progressed to at this point. You know what I'm saying? And then when you take the Manosphere, Kevin Samuels, Red Pill conversation, family court practices, people that have experienced being alienated as parents from the mother of their children. Now we like, yo, y'all got to find a better way to talk. You got to find a better way to communicate because this ain't about how we feel no more. This is about these kids going forward and what it take to be a healthy person. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Cali West, man. He just made it up in here. Yo, what's good, brother?
What's happening, y'all? I appreciate y'all for hitting me up.
Yeah, man. Hey,
okay.
I've been wanting to commune with you, brother, because like I see the work you've been doing, love what you post. I haven't had a chance to come and you know what I'm saying, say what's up to you and your platform. But hey, first opportunity I had when it came up and you know, Dontre made the post. I'm like, yo, it's time for the Legion of Doom. You know what I'm saying? So what's up, bro? Glad you can make it.
Yeah, I'm chilling, man. Well, I just had a little quick moment. I ain't really got all night to chilling, but you know, I had to check in with my boys. What's up, Dontre? You know, we ain't collabed in a little minute. You dig? So you know, I had to come through real quick.
I'm a big fan, man. I be fanned out, nigga. I be in this mug. I used to rap back in the day, and you know, I used to like, you know, really be tripping on niggas' lyrics and shit. That's how it is in the podcast space. I be tripping. I be like, dog, that nigga funny as hell. Oh man, that shit crazy. That shit creative as fuck. God damn, that shit was hard. That was hard than a bitch. Hey, yeah, so
right. Definitely got to put it out there. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it all starts just about pressing the record and just talk your shit. You feel me? So I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, your boy's a little busy. It's Saturday in Miami. You know what I'm saying? So I probably can't be here too long, but you know, I had to come here and talk my shit a little bit. I was kind of doing a little stuff. I just kind of came in the crib when y'all was hit me up. I was, you know, driving out and about and stuff. So you know,
that's I had a little shit. We slowed in.
Right. I had some little time to chime in real quick. Y'all had some good. Here's the thing. Y'all had some good points that I wanted to touch on that might give you a little bit more perspective on a couple of things.
Go ahead.
You all mentioned about the man shouldn't cheat on his wife situation, right? To some degree, I think I kind of do agree with y'all. I think, well, there's two sides to the coin. I mean, you could say, okay, well, you know what? A man should be honest with his woman to say, hey, look, you know, I'm going to have more than one old lady, blah, 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 blah. You know, because transparency is very important in a relationship, right? I mean, you know, I do believe that a woman, even a man, should have a choice on what type of situation they want to deal with, right? The flip side to the coin is that men, I truly believe that men truly do want to be married or truly want to be with a certain woman. But unfortunately, I think one of the things that even the good men, even the men who want to be faithful, don't take in consideration with a woman is that men rarely change. Women always change. Now, unfortunately, both of us, we're on something that will never happen. Women, a woman who's 20 is going to change from her 30s to her 40s. Men don't ever take in consideration that, okay, you might have a lot of sex with someone because you're not living with them. But the moment y'all cohabitate or get married, the sex usually drops off. Some of y'all who've been married or been in long-term relationships could attest and agree with this. So unfortunately, a lot of times it's usually the woman who usually breaks the contract before the man does. Because I could be honest with you, I have been in relationships where I've actually been faithful, even though I'm not a monogamous man. I haven't been in a real relationship, probably in 5 years because I'm not monogamous. I tell women how it is. So it's not really easy to have a relationship in that aspect, depending on, what you're looking for, right? But with that being said, I think that's the one part that people don't understand. And unfortunately, as easy as it sounds, like, okay, well, if your woman's not giving you any more sex, if your woman's not making you happy, just divorce her, right? Unfortunately, when you divorce, it's the man who usually gets the shitty end of the stick, aka child support, alimony. That's not even consideration the fact that, this man, even if you're in a relationship or a marriage for like 10 years, hey, a marriage is not considered successful until one of you are in the ground. You feel me? And even if it could go to death to his part, that relationship might have still been unhappy and sexless. So, at the same time, I wouldn't necessarily judge a man basically just off his relationship with a woman, because I could honestly say that, I know a couple guys who are, not the best guys in relationships and they cheat on a woman, but I could honestly they have, a couple of guys that saved my life a couple of times. So, there's a lot of nuance to the situation, right? Because like I said, if she decides to break the contract, why should he be the bigger man and not getting pussy? So, I just wanted to just throw that out there because I thought that was very interesting.
Do you think that that's the exception or the rule?
It's ironic that you say that. It only be the exception of the rule if most marriages are happy. Do you know most marriages are sexless? Most relationships are sexless.
Yeah.
Not even to consider that, okay, if our parents are even still married or together, we don't know about how she cheated on him, how he cheated on her. Dude, my grandfather had a whole another family before before he had my dad and stuff like that. Like, you'd be surprised what people, dealt with, to be in this quote unquote successful marriage. So I don't think it's just an exception. I think there's a little bit more than just an exception. I believe that this is something that happens quite often because, like you said earlier before I got on, us men now are able to have the internet. We can all talk about our stories, and unfortunately, a lot of our divorce stories or bad relationship stories all follow a certain pattern, especially in the Black community.
Yep. Like when I talk about, I'm glad that you said patterns, right? One of the patterns that I will stand on and argue about from top to bottom. It ain't even an argument from my side. Single parents raise children that become single parents because the probability of you growing up without your father underneath the same roof is going to make you the same type of father as the one that was in your life. So if you're absent or you're intermittent, it's more than likely you're going to choose a woman that creates a space for you to be just like the man that raised you or had a hand in your upbringing,
Oh, of course. Environment plays a big part in it, of course.
Correct. So, like, I think men easily accept that as a reality because a pattern is a pattern, right? We might be resistant to some things, right? But of course, women don't accept the same things that we recognize as the norm as easily as we do, right? And I say
Right.
this because my parents were married for 42 years before my father passed away in 2018,
Wow.
and I didn't grow up seeing my mom and dad in constant conflict with one another. That don't mean it was perfect. It's just I'm just
Right.
saying what I didn't see.
Right.
And one of the things that I wish I had seen as I got older is if they had a conflict, how did they resolve it? You know, because like I grew up caring about marriage because I thought that it was. I think I still think it's very important for a man. You know, just the same way that some men think children are important to becoming a better man. You know, there's certain values that you just take away from whatever your individual experience is, and if you had a quality experience with the opposite sex, of course you will want to value being a parent in a certain type of way. Like I grew up with, like my mom's side of the family, she had a mother that had been married twice, right? And then on my dad's side of the family, he was one of 10 siblings, and he was one of 7 sons, and he had 3 sisters. And 80% of the boys got married, and two of his sisters got married. So like that was kind of like a norm, you know what I mean? And everybody had 2 or more children. So I had like 17 first cousins on my dad's side and like 8 first cousins on my mom's side.
Right.
So I grew up around support systems on both sides of the family. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
there are
I
some
do.
that their experiences ain't like that. And so like the pattern becomes they're gonna do exactly what their mom did if they was raised by their mom. And whatever indication they had about their father, whatever relationship they had with their father, they're gonna mimic that too. Or make selection criteria for the opposite sex the same way. You know what I'm saying?
And I want to touch on that. See, you kind of bring up a good point. And I'll even argue that the onus will even be on the woman. And I'll say this, and it's kind of hard because, you can never have a woman do a man's job, right? But in the Black community, the woman, it's a matriarchy. They
It is.
decided that, see,
Yep.
here's the thing. See, and we can get into that. That'll be a whole another topic in itself. But what I do want to actually state is, if a woman chooses, here's the thing. And that's why, I'm just like, that's why I agree with Dontre. I'm very tough on single parents. I'm not saying that I wouldn't date a woman who has kids, but if she has, like, if the dad is completely out the picture, hey, there's only so much that I could do with you. You feel me?
I,
But with that being, but with that being said, I do want to touch on the fact that most women have met a man who would have married them and would have did right by them, and they was walking to school. Look, they was walking with this guy from school all the way to the bus stop for probably like 3-4 years, right? She knew he came from good parents. His name was Clarence. But guess what? She don't want to give him no play. She don't want to
yeah.
give him no coochie, no kissing, no nothing, right? This dude would have waited for her virginity, all that. But guess what? The dope boy who was about 3-4 years older up the street, he was the one getting an attention. So, with that being said, that's kind of why I even tell my guys here in the writing sphere, if you're gonna date a woman, you probably want to date a woman who's like younger than you. And when I say younger, I mean legal, within the legal state age limit. Because a woman your age, she has had more dating experience than you. So with that being said, a lot of these women are asking for so much when they could have got this at such a younger age when they're actually more value, when they have much more value. And I truly believe there's no good woman over 25 because if she was good, she would already have
Okay. Well,
Now going back to the beginning of the conversation with about we can't really judge a man based on the way he treats his woman. Me personally, I believe the word manager, the root word of manager is man, right? I think that's what made man age. That's what makes manage. And to be a man, you got to be a good manager, right? If you don't have the foresight, or if you don't have the insight, and if you don't have the discipline to stay true to your word, see, the problem ain't so much you being human in the situation. It's the fact that you're going against your word. And there's men out here, right? Like myself, that really mean what they say and say what they mean and stand on that. Like, I'm not a good guy. I'm just a slave to my word. I can't go to sleep at night if I say I'm gonna do something and don't do it. You know what I'm saying? I can't go to sleep at night if I pull a sucker move behind somebody's back. You know what I'm saying? I can't.
Right.
I can't live with myself. I don't care if nobody else see it. There's just certain things that I'm gonna have to get right.
Right. That's your personal morals. That's just how you cut. You feel me? Because everyone has a faith-based system, right? But I want to go back to what you also stated too about a man's word. Would you agree? I mean, this actually, I'm sure you agree with this. Marriage, or to be with someone, or a friendship, is a contract between two friends, right? Or two person in a relationship, right?
Yeah, it's an agreement.
All right, okay. So if I get with a woman, like I said, I've been in faithful relationships. I know I'm not monogamous now, but I've been in faithful relationships to the point that I didn't mess with no other chick. But if I choose to no longer be with no other chick, and I decide to get married, and my wife decides to withhold sex from me, change and things like that, at that point, the contract is null and void once she decides to change things up. Now, I guess I could divorce her, but the ramifications of modern day divorce is detrimental. And here's another too. The reason why I don't really judge my man's situation on his relationship is I don't know what they got going on. They might even agree to even date other people outside the relationship. I actually have a coworker who actually had a woman, and the only reason why he stayed with her was for the kids. He was waiting for the kids to get older. And as soon as they got older, they wanted to separate, but they stayed together just for the kids' sake.
Yeah, I think everything needs to be done, within reason, right? For the most part, I believe that there's always going to be situations that are just exceptions, right? There's always going to be things like that. But in the grand scheme of things, if I'm aware of the type of relationship you have, and I have the ability to judge your character, because our actions become our habits, and our habits become our character. You cannot separate yourself from your behavior. This has protected me.
Of course not.
In my 40 years. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying, I'm not going to gamble with you. You probably are. You could be a good person. You could be a good guy. But if I'm just meeting you, I'm not going to roll the dice with your character. I'm not going to roll the dice with your behavior, because I have a responsibility to protect and move forward.
Right. Hey, but you know what? That kind of goes to another point. Should you really even trust anybody anyway? Because see, there's a lot of nuance to that. Because I'm not gonna really trust anyone who I don't really know. I can only trust you as much as I see forward. I mean, I guess if I see a dude and I don't know, I was supposed to do some business with him, but I found out that he's like a big cheat and he's fucking on a bunch of bitches all around town, that might not be a responsible person. But if it's somebody who I know from high school or back in the day, and they have proven themselves reputable business-wise as a professional, but I find out that he has other women and stuff like that. That's neither here nor there. I mean, men have been stepping on a woman since the beginning of time. I mean, there's a lot of nuance to that whole discussion. That's actually why I say I wouldn't really bet on that, only because people's relationship, you never know. Most people's relationships suck, and most people stay in relationships out of convenience alone. So I wouldn't just put that on the man. I truly believe that, there's a lot of nuance to that. So that's why I would not hang on that completely. Because I know some people who did some really good business, but they stepped on their woman.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think it's scumbag behavior. I think that
I agree. I agree. I hold up. I do want to point out.
I'm a non-monogamous guy. I don't know if you knew that. Like
me too.
I don't do no monogamy. So, I'm a P and I'm a G about what I do. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
And I think that, when we look at men in the Eastern world and them type, we should be trying to get in frame like that, where if we have multiple women and multiple wives and we're able to do that, then that's what we standing on, because women have more respect for that. It's almost like you playing yourself. It's like it's like you're living a life of being timid whenever you go behind a woman's back. And I don't want that for no man. I think every man should wake up and feel strong every single day. Now, what I'm gonna do is find my phone type shit. That shit crazy, man.
Well, Dontre, I would honestly say too, wouldn't you agree also that we are now more empowered to admit that we are non-monogamous versus the generations before, because there was a certain expectation from a man?
Yeah, I think it was cowardly. As much as I adore the fact that our grandfathers had families on the other side of town, I think it was some sucker shit. Because a lot of times there was one family that was neglected over the other, because you put presidents over whatever family you felt like you needed to put presidents over.
Right. I could totally agree with that too, because think about it, like that is true. Like that means that, unless they both know, then somebody's getting neglected.
Right. Some kid is gonna grow up. See, I was a child born outside of the marriage.
Right. Like a lot of people.
I was the woman, the mistress child.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I did not get treated like I was special, like I was important. And that just did not happen. And it's okay. But when I was the Ishmael. I was definitely the Ishmael in that situation. So
yeah, I get the biblical reference.
It was cowardly behavior. My dad was a coward for doing that. My dad, he's not like he was saying, well, this is my wife, but I want to be with you. No, the motherfucker didn't even know that he had a wife.
That's crazy.
That's what happens.
Right.
Most of the
and you know what?
is.
And let me ask you a question. Did you ever talk to him about that until you tell him how you felt?
No, man. I mean, it ain't about how a nigga feels. Like, I'm not even about the emotional aspect. It's just what's real.
When I say feel, I'm more a reference to the situation, because, have you ever talked to your mom about this? Because it is important to hear both sides of the story.
My mom is not someone you could talk to. I come from real Black culture. Shut the fuck up. You stay in the child's place. I did the best I can.
See, that's matriarchy, though. That's the matriarchy.
Yeah. I did the best I can. You want to make me seem like I'm a bad mama? No, I ain't nobody finna do. No. And my pops, he followed me on social media, so he see a lot of the things I say. To my family,
man, talk to your pops, man. I mean, look, I ain't saying that you should be on some old kumbaya shit, but you should hear his angle.
With my pops.
You might be surprised, man.
I got a good relationship with my father, right? Okay. It ain't even that. It's just that when it comes to that particular situation, I don't think that's something that we need to talk about, because I'm not I'm not at the pace that he was when he was my age. Like I think financially he was on a higher level, but when it comes to interpersonally, intellect, or like emotional intelligence and just integrity, I think I'm on another level.
Well, you know what? We have a lot more tools than our fathers did. We have a lot more tools than our fathers did.
I mean, we had the privilege to learn from them.
Well, that and there's documentation of not only their mistakes, but also other men's mistakes as well. Because that's kind of what makes this space kind of dope, is the fact that other people are able to share their stories and share their experiences. And here's another too, and I tell this, you know, and like shout out to my boy Sky Daddy, but he mentions the most important part of forgiving your mom and also forgiving your father too. You know, and how, you know, you gotta forgive your mom, you know, forgive your mom for, you know, the mistakes that she made, and also, you know, forgive your father for the mistakes he made as well.
Right. You know, one of the hardest struggles as a young black boy is becoming a young black man. But no, how do you emulate something that you never seen?
Yeah, that's a little tough. That's a little tough. I mean, you know what? And I could kind of see. That's the thing. I mean, I was raised by my pops, luckily, so I can't directly relate, but I could relate to the fact that, you know, my dad, even though I did have my dad around, he was always the type of guy who was always working. Never really had a time for, you know, his kids like that. Well, his older kids, should I say. And I can honestly say that, you know, that could be a little tough, you know, saying to not to have someone to model from. You feel me?
Yeah, I mean, being a black man, I mean, even between the culture, what we was talking about, I mean, hip hop culture caught us before, you know, real, true life upbringing.
Right, because if our parents don't raise us, the streets will.
Yeah, we all have a thugging period. It's crazy. It's like the rite to passage to being black, nigga. A black man is to thugging. Is to be thugging.
Well, those are probably the only masculine men you've seen in the neighborhood.
Thugging.
Shit, most of the times, most black men don't even see a strong black man until they either join in a sport, little league, or going to high school and meeting a guy that, you know, their PE teacher or a high school teacher who's a male. Other than that, they usually governed by their mother.
Yeah, you ain't lying, man. That's why, you know, so many niggas relate to Pac. I mean, when Pac said I hung around with the thugs, and even though they sold drugs, they showed a young brother love. Like, niggas was really feeling that shit. Like, god damn. Like, everything in the 90s, it was gangster shit, boy. THUG, right. We and thug mentality, we thugging.
Right. Well, hey, that's because I think in the early 90s they started taking away certain curriculum. Like, for example, one of the reasons why even rap music even kind of became fundamental in the hood anyway is because they took away the instrument program in a lot of inner city schools. You know that?
Well, shit, nigga, we had MPCs. Fuck that instrument.
Huh?
We had MPCs, nigga. We didn't need no motherfucking instrument.
No, I'm saying before we even got, but even before we even got DAT machines and stuff like that, we used the turntables. Remember, we were scratching off other people's stuff.
That shit was hard.
Dude, like, if you find out the history of rap, it's really interesting. But essentially, that's how rap kind of started. I mean, here's the thing: there's always kind of form of rap. There was always a form of rap because rap is still kind of contrived from jazz, dance hall, rhythm and blues, right? And a lot of things, right? And especially the pimp talk on the street, right? But the reason why it also kind of blew up is because of the fact that they took away their instrument program. People used to be able to take home instruments. Dude, black people used to play all types of instruments, remember? But when they took away that school program, we ain't had no choice but to use other instruments. Because a lot of the old school rap used a lot of the old like instruments and stuff that they couldn't have access to anymore. Hence the turntables.
They need to bring that shit back. They need to bring that motherfucking turntable shit back. But these are, hey man, that shit is hard, nigga.
You know what black people fucked up, Dontre? black people should have copywritten that shit. Because, dude, why? Look, Peters, you know what black people also fucked up into? We're quick to throw away fads. And these white people, look, hey, when they broke out breakdancing for, what was it, the 2020 Olympics, bro? Wasn't that a surprise, bro? You know how many black people and Spanish people could have made money off of that? But they said it was out of style.
I mean, shit, when you gotta understand, like, we really touched the world with our pain. You know what I'm saying? Like, real shit. We touched the world with our pain. You know,
Right.
I was telling motherfucker, like, the black man is the vanguard of freedom. You understand what I'm saying?
The vanguard
like,
of freedom?
The vanguard of freedom. There wouldn't be a bitch, a frog, a turtle, or a bird, nigga, that would have any rights in this motherfucker if it wasn't for niggas getting fucked off.
Well, you know what? It's ironic that you bring that up because the civil rights movement was hijacked. Because here's the thing. They knew that black people was going to get civil rights anyway. Well, the truth is, black people already have civil rights. Malcolm X said this back in 1963, 1964. He said, black people do not need any more laws. He just said they just need the government to enforce the laws that's already in place. You know, they don't need to protect black people. They need to protect black people as Americans, not as black Americans, not as American Negroes, just as Americans, right? When they turned around and gave the Civil Rights Bill, you know what they also gave black people? Welfare, which gave the woman the incentive to leave the black man.
Yeah, the Welfare Act 1965, Lyndon B. Johnson was the beginning of the year. That's why I say everything but post 1964 was great. And I think the greatest militant movement that we ever had was 1968. Like when you understand what Martin Luther King was about to do with the Poor People's Campaign, when he said we're marching to Washington to get our check, that was Martin Luther King on some gangster shit. He said, I'm trying to get reparations for the Negro for 400 years of free labor.
Right.
That was Magneto and Professor X coming around full circle, common understanding in the middle. We didn't get a chance to see Malcolm come to his Martin. We almost got a chance to see Martin come into his Malcolm, but we did not get to see them motherfuckers operating as the fucking force that they was created. And fun fact, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Magneto, and Professor X, Stanley dude said that he did create those characters off of their personality. So
right, I picked that with Stan Lee. So salute to Stan Lee. But yo, it's funny that you mentioned that too, man. Yo, I mean, I hate to say this, but the civil rights movement, well, as far nothing is wrong with civil rights movement because they did the right thing. But as far as the civil rights bill, that was just basically to undermine the civil rights movement. Because the truth is, when they decided to desegregate things, a lot of black businesses went out of business. Black buses, black doctors, black schools, a lot of infrastructure that black people had.
Black transportation, the trains. And a lot of that shit was in the city. Pine Bluff, Arkansas was one of the first cities to really be standing on business when it comes to having trains and automobiles, black automobiles. That's crazy. I know a lot of people don't know that. Little Rock was the first city to start the desegregation, Little Rock, Arkansas. And a lot of you niggas in the South don't want to claim motherfucking Arkansas is the South. You niggas is on fucking drugs.
Right,
like,
right.
Nigga, I don't know how many Cotton Fields and KKK motherfucking members do a motherfucker gotta have for them niggas to be considered the South. And to you slow motherfuckers in the back, where I'm from, Missouri was a Confederate state too, you dumb motherfuckers. So
well,
us
I don't
niggas,
know how many. Right.
Yeah, we was considered,
no,
considered the South for a long time.
Well, Virginia as well. What a lot of people consider, the people think Virginia is the North. Virginia is definitely part of the South.
The South is something totally different. I mean, above the Mason-Dixie line, you know, Maryland on down.
Right.
That's what a lot of people
man. Right. And I think a lot of people tend to forget too, is, that's why history is important to remember, because at one point in time, man, Black people had more, had a better family structure, and more unity, and financially were well off, even without reparations, even back then, especially than we are now.
Yeah, we were jumping the broom in slavery.
Right.
I mean, that's what I mean. But if you really think about, what the problem is in dating today?
Other than the fact that dating is not to marry, dating is really to either have sex or to be monetized.
Or courting. Let's say courting. All right. You know what the problem is with courtship today?
But it's not courting. Dating and courting is not the same.
Okay. I mean, dating is just a perverted form of courting, but back in the day, you had because only thing you're doing, you're basically leasing pussy and dick nigga for a couple of years, and then you go to somebody else. But anyway, anything that's supposed to be the relationships that was established that was supposed to lead into commitment. The problem with it today is that you took the survival out of the hands of women. Women don't need men for basic survival anymore. That's the fucking problem. So when you empower this bitch, she got her own refrigerator, she got her own dog, she got her own car, she got her own kids. She got 2 motherfucking kids that don't look like you. She got a whole life and a whole world, nigga. See, back in the day, 50 years ago, nigga, 60 years ago, it was easy to be a man. You have a job, you bring home the bacon, you get the bitch a motherfucking shack, you get her a car, you get her bring food, you bring home the bacon, everything is all good. Now you pull up, this bitch got a high-rise apartment, 3 motherfucking kids by 3 niggas, a motherfucking Tesla, a dumbass motherfucking dog baby, and a whole bunch of goddamn purses. She don't need you for basic survival. When you go to the Middle East, you go to the Africa, you go to the Eastern world, all these bitches is under a patriarchy and they need niggas for their basic fucking survival. So they shut the fuck up and do all type of shit that bitches used to do in the past.
Well, I'll say this much still, Don Trey. Back in the day, there was a lot of white people who were like government workers, like FBI and stuff like that. And I think even the CIA, who did a lot of bad things in the Black community. But one of the things that they tried to stop in the 50s was communism. I tell you this, communism has officially won in this country, bro. One of the communism's thing is to do is be socialist, like free, giving out free shit, i.e. welfare, and then 2, to separate the family from the state, putting the state first. And essentially what do you have? Women who are willing to put, their kids, in projects and not to live with a man to get a socialist check. Communism has officially won in this country.
Nigga, that is a hell of a fucking perspective right there. I ain't never thought about it like that. That made me want to go ahead and look up communism, nigga.
Look it up. But beat this. Like, for example, BLM was a Marxist movement. Marxists are socialists. So, like, these are like socialist people who talk about basically about how, they should get this and how, give the people what they want type shit. And unfortunately, what I end up finding out is that giving the people what they want is not always a good thing. I believe you should give people opportunity, not handouts. Most people want handouts.
Yeah, man, that shit bogus as fuck. Like that shit is wild. That shit is wild. And that's where, if that makes Black culture, that's why I say fuck Black culture, man. I don't know what niggas is on. I don't even like being called a passport bro. Because I'm not even on no bro shit with the passport. Like, I'm
well, I think what's sad about the Black culture thing is just that, here's the thing, Black culture in a whole, I think, is beautiful. But I think what the problem is that it was initially based off of a Christian, Southern, kind of basically through, their own pain and just being, a melanated person in this country. I thought that's essentially what Black culture is. Because I would say completely black culture is completely messed up. I just feel like what's
What percentage?
celebrated.
What
Hmm?
percentage of black culture ain't fucked off? If you was to put
I'm about to land my plane. I'm about to drop that point. I said originally, I believe that's what black culture was originally. Right. And I think what the problem is that, see, when you remove family, you remove shame. Like when someone could be a stripper and someone could be an OnlyFans person, how are they gonna be? They ain't gonna be talking about being Bible and being about family and being about tradition. Tradition's out the door when they start doing shit like that. The only reason why people was traditional was because people relied on it. Here's the thing: not only did your family stick on you back in the day to kind of be an outstanding citizen, but society as well. When you remove shame from society, this is why people are gonna act this way. Especially the fact that when you move a matriarchy, aka the strong men of the community.
All right, you see that?
Yeah, I see that long ass message. It says communism won't allow women with children to work until the child is school age. Socialism is government dependence based on qualifications. Marxism is a combination of wanting and needing, but trying to block government, but needing government essentially for our socialism. Well, ma'am, you call it what you want, but Marxism, one of Marxist standpoints is to remove religion from society, which is a certain order. Religion has a lot of faith based in family. So we could break down Marxism and be all, we could be technical all we want and be about semantics. At the end of the day, both communism and Marxism and even socialism does not promote family. It actually promotes putting the state first and then just giving the people just barely anything to really live off of. Or what should I say, what they're trying to do in this country now, which will probably happen in the next 5 to 10 years, which is people just getting a staple, a certain amount of income. What's that? General income on a debit card? It's communism. And Jessica said she didn't speak on religion. You didn't have to speak on religion. You spoke on Marxism and communism. See, but here's the thing. That's all she heard. She's not hearing about the fact that she challenged me on the fact that why the black women, if that's so true, right? Why is it that black women choose to not have a man and choose to depend on the government? Is that not communism? Is that not a form of communism? Not a form of socialism, but falls in line with communism?
Yeah, the ism is a bad motherfucker, boy. Hey, man, I'm telling you.
Yo, if you listen, I'm sorry to cut you off, John Trey, but this kind of makes me mad a little bit because if you listen to black people talk, listen to how they talk. They talk like communists. Like, for example, you know what black people have been getting mad at? Shannon Sharp lately, right? Because he lost that supposedly $23 million to this Spanish white woman, right? They're all like, all that money who's going towards these people who are not, not like us, blah, 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 right? But I say to people, but black women are putting black men on child support all the time for $300. This is what they're gonna say. Well, that's not. See, but we're talking about just millions and millions of dollars. But here's the thing: I learned if you don't take care of your pennies, look, the dollars will watch themselves. You're supposed to take care of your pennies. If y'all are being crumb snatchers over some damn child support, that's even worse than girl who at least got him for $23 million. At least he could afford it. You're taking money directly out of your kids' mouths. And black people think that's okay, but they didn't want to get on Shannon Sharp. They want to get on Shannon Sharp. Why? Because guess what? Black people want him to take his money and give it away to them. They would have felt better if a black woman would have got that so she could give it to her kids or something like that from another man.
Yeah, man. It's selective outrage. And that's really what it is, because it goes back to the principle for me. I'm a principle guy. If you're gonna utilize the government to take from your child's father, what's the difference between a white woman using the government to take away from Shannon Sharp? It's the principle for me,
right.
And that's where it's gonna same thing with that marriage shit. It's the principle, nigga. You know, you
Right.
cheating on your wife, you'll cheat on me, nigga. I'm just.
Every man gotta have a code, bro. Every man gotta have a code, bro.
Yeah, I mean, everybody gotta be live by something, and it's hypocritical, my nigga. And one thing, we ain't is perfect, but as men, moving forward, we gotta tighten up, man. Like we really gotta be aware. The greatest gift that I give my daughter right now, and this is what I'm peeping in this season, is giving her social awareness and self-awareness. That's the greatest gift, bro. And every day I go inside her mind, right? And I provoke thought where she can carry the thought by herself, right? And a lot of people are not on that type of time, which is why they can't see their own hypocrisy. I'm not here. I try to stay clear in a way. I try to use my spiritual acumen and my wisdom, bro. Fuck my intellect. Even fuck all my experience, nigga. At the end of the day, bro, I try to use wisdom, bro, and put myself in the best position that I can, because I cannot afford to be around fuck niggas. Or fuck bitches. Like, nigga, that shit will set you back, nigga, eons.
Well, you do want to keep yourself around people who motivate you to be, on a high path, or in the same direction that you're going on. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
if you're trying to
do it out West, like we might not deal with each other on a personal level, right? Like that may not be harmonious, that may not be cohesive for that, but we got a similar work. Like we can work together. Where people fuck up, G, is when they mix the two, when they take somebody that they were supposed to build with on this level and they try to bring them into an intimate space. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you trying to make the mechanic a fucking preacher.
So a mechanic's just a mechanic. Mechanic's just a mechanic.
Nigga. Like he
might look right. Now he might be a mechanic who preach, and if he does, so be it. But you can't make him that's just a mechanic just want to preach if that's not what he's on.
He was very successful in your life. He increased your life as a mechanic, but you wanted to give the nigga extra responsibility. So what is responsibility? I like words. It's a compound word. It's respond and ability. Flip that bitch. Responsibility is your ability to respond. This nigga is more able to respond being under your car than he is, nigga, being there for you, nigga, in a shootout.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's our responsibility as managers to understand who we deal with and how to put people in the proper place.
I agree. That's got to be able to delegate things.
I like Donald motherfucking Trump, and I'm gonna go to my motherfucking grave saying I like that nigga. Maybe I'm the type of motherfucker I can be a fan of a nigga that I don't have the same beliefs in.
Because you can still respect someone.
Yeah, because I am a fan of order. I'm a fan of system, order, and structure, nigga. I hated the motherfucking Golden State Warriors, nigga, but when them niggas was on their shit, they was on their shit.
Right.
I'm pretty sure everybody hated the Bulls in the 90s, but Phil Jackson, nigga, was on his shit. I'm pretty sure everybody
a lot of people hated the Lakers, too.
Yeah. Hell yeah. For real. And the Bill Walsh era. I'm from Kansas City. Everybody hates them niggas. But Andy Reid, the Chiefs organization is just a great organization. From ownership to the fucking field. It's a well-oiled machine. You may
it's probably because it's mostly men in that organization running things.
You said who?
Mostly men in that organization running things.
Hell yeah. Yeah, absolutely. They even took the gay pride shit out the NFL. Boy, watch, boy, them white men ain't bullshit. But anytime that there's order and structure, G, things is gonna get better. Things are gonna move smooth. So as men, how did you pick the motherfucking court? The woman is the quarterback of your goddamn team. So as a man, how did you pick this bitch? How did you draft this bitch to be the franchise player on your motherfucking team? And this motherfucker, you gonna let this motherfucker bring the whole goddamn organization down?
Well, that is the problem. That's the quagmire of having a woman. Having a woman, here's the thing, man, we're constant. We're the constant. The woman is the X. She's the thing. We have a certain number. We are a specific number. Women are the X factor. They're the ones who they can go either way. You have a woman who co-signs to everything that you were on until she no longer decides to. Look, a woman will love you until she decides no longer to.
So why you didn't put that bitch on the practice squad?
But guess what? But here's the thing. That's why some men, especially men in our space, choose not to even get married at all, because they know a woman can't change. They tend to say girlfriends are better than wives. Why? Because a girlfriend can always be replaced.
So that's my question: is why would you give her that type of contract?
I think men don't know better. Yo, most men are not good with women, bro. Most men are not good with women, bro.
Okay, fuck it. Okay, listen. In life, what you don't know, you gonna pay for. The root word of ignorance is ignore. The root word of ignorance is ignore, nigga. No. You an ignorant motherfucker. You an ignorant motherfucker. You ignorant motherfucker.
So check this out though. They set you up for failure. When I say they, I talk about society. Everybody sets you up. Because why is it that you have to go take a test to get a driver's license, right? You have to take a test to get a motorcycle license. But you don't have to take a test to get a marriage license. Why? Because the marriage license was made to fuck you over, bro.
Yeah, that's why niggas don't need to do it. But I don't feel sorry for no motherfucking sucker or fool, nigga. Nigga, suckers get licked every motherfucking day. How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of the Tootsie Pop, nigga?
Well, in this day and age, I feel that men should know better now, because we done seen men get
they get grace. Man, fuck these niggas. Man, these bitches been tearing these niggas a new asshole niggas since the beginning of time.
Hey, shit. Think about it. We seen it. We seen it. OJ.
But what the hell, bro?
we seen that shit.
Man, no fucking shit. OJ got up on the bitch.
You know, Domino's Pizza sold the most pizza, not doing the Super Bowl, but doing OJ Simpson driving his white truck on that 10 freeway.
Why? Yeah, why did they make more money doing that?
Because it was OJ. He the juice. Remember, he was driving away in the Bronco.
Yeah, nigga said Domino's, nigga, the motherfucker Papa John's. Better pizza, nigga. God damn, better ingredient, better pizza, buddy.
Damn. Well, Shaquille O'Neal's the face of Papa John's now. Better pizza, Papa John's.
Nigga is a businessman.
Think about it. We see Shaquille O'Neal on TV every day. Do you realize that?
Yeah.
He's always on a commercial or talking about something. Shaq is always on TV.
Yep.
Shaq is the type of nigga that need to be on TV, man. That nigga is.
Right, but no, well, look, one thing I say about, even though Shaq might be a big simp, he is a great businessman, bro. Look, you see him on TV. Look, dude, he's renting cars. He's selling pizza. He's selling deodorant, soap. He's selling it all, bro.
Shout out to that boy. Shout out to that boy, Shaq, nigga, for his business. So what you been doing back there, B, as Cali, man, been stirring up the sauce, niggas, man?
I've been sitting back getting educated, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I you know what I told you? I said, man, I wanted this segment whenever I go live and you on it for men with similar backgrounds to converse and compare they journey, because I don't have the same thing that everybody else has and nobody really does, right? But the start point is what we're not responsible for. You know, what we do with the opportunity is something else. So I wanted to always be able to be in observation mode. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I sat back and, just appreciated the exchange, because there's always a perspective that I'm not seeing. And you can't have every single perspective. Generally speaking, if you had every perspective, you wouldn't make any decisions. Like the decision that you would make would be, it'll be just for you. And we're just not getting to the point where we can make decisions that only benefit us, after we
That's true.
see the behavior that we got to work with, and what's worth sacrifice, because sacrifice is implied, right? To get anything that you want, you got to give up something. You can't have it all. And the people you got to work with is going to determine how much effort you're going to put behind that shit, right? Or which direction you going to choose to give your sacrifice to.
Ideally, you're supposed to calculate the risk, right?
Yeah,
no pain, no gain.
Yep, but because you ain't getting nothing without trading no skin. Anything that's worth having, you gotta leave something on the field, man. And
right. You don't want to lose. You don't want to put your life on the line for it.
Facts, yeah. So like, at this is what I was saying earlier before I went live, was that men just haven't had to have the right conversation in public about it. From a control perspective, from a mature, start point. Because there's a lot of men that they just want to talk shit. They don't want to talk about the psychological imprint that comes from dealing with trauma. They don't want to talk about what they overcame without it being connected to shame, insult, guilt, and all the other terminology that's so easily, repeated. How come a man just can't learn from his experiences and say, you know what, man, I tried this, it didn't work for me. And we're not trying to superimpose our personal experiences on anybody else's choices, because everybody ain't got the same options.
I do believe it. But I do believe people. I do believe it's important for people to have options, though, and to at least have the option. A lot of people don't even know that this is even an option. Some people are even flabbergasted to even think like, "Damn, man, you could tell a woman that you don't want to be non-monogamous." That is like unheard of for people to really say. But like Dontre said, like, he's non-monogamous, I'm non-monogamous, and I state this to people. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of men are not willing to live within, be themselves and just be honest to women and to be honest to the world. You feel me? A lot of people, I feel, say a lot of things and do a lot of things because of what their mama want them to do.
Oh, all day. But
fuck your fat ass mama, man. Your mama ain't running shit around here, man.
Yeah.
Shit, you'd be so surprised, man. I know some grown ass men who got their own shit, they got their own crib, they got their own everything, they got their own kids, and still worry about what their mama think. I had somebody tell me that they couldn't, they couldn't date a white woman because, they know their mama gonna say something.
Yeah, damn. I wouldn't date a white. I just don't want a Neanderthal. That shit crazy. I mean, each his own. I don't want one of them motherfucking cave dwellers in my bed. I'm straight.
Right, but let me ask you a question. Whether that's all right. So let me ask a question: would you date a woman of Latin descent?
What does that even mean?
What do you mean? What does that mean? Would you date a
Like a
Spanish chick?
Latin
Would you date a
like,
Puerto Rican? Would you date a Dominican?
But they come Afro.
I get that. Yes or no is the question.
Yeah,
That was not a trick question. Okay. The reason why I'm asking that. So my point is that some people might not even take her home because their mom might feel some type of way.
Man, fuck that big back motherfucking bitch that ain't got a husband.
I understand what you're saying, but you do recognize that there are men who do not bring certain type of woman home because of what their mama feel, right? That's what I'm saying. I didn't say you care about what your mama say, but hey, you know what I'm saying? Mama might not like that you have this Afro-Caribbean or Afro-Latina in the crib.
Man,
she got this good ass hair. She got this good ass hair, this tan skin. Speaking a different language, she should be on the phone.
Nigga, you in the Miami is not. Miami is the Caribbean. People need to acknowledge that. People need to know. Ain't no fucking basically. When you take that peninsula,
okay.
When you do that whole shit all the way up into Guyana, when you go all the way down to South America and you come all the way, nigga, that whole shit, that shit is a part of that, and everybody in that motherfucker represents that shit.
I don't know about all that, but I do know that the Caribbean does circle Florida essentially. Yes, that is a fact.
Even culturally, bro, like
that's also a fact as well.
Miami is an alternative universe, nigga.
Yo, one thing I love about Miami, bro, is that yes, you can get everything from just about every island that's in the Caribbean. Jamaican food, Trinidadian food, Colombian food, Cuban food, all that, man. Oh, and especially the women. Mwah. Man, it gets a little expensive living out here, though. That's the only caveat.
Ain't no fucking little expensive, nigga. That shit is expensive. But on some real shit, like
there's some more expensive places.
How do you where? LA? Like, what are you talking about?
LA, Brickell, which is in Miami, but it's a little bit more on the richer side. Brickell, now that should get all pricey down there. Brickell, that's like downtown Miami.
You ain't rich, you ain't getting no ass. Okay, tell me, how does a common nigga get pussy in motherfucking Miami? A regular nigga.
I think everywhere. I think any way that everybody would. I guess. When you say regular, what do you mean? Like a regular? I'm a regular nigga.
When I went to Miami, I felt like if you didn't have a yacht, nigga, you wasn't shit.
Well, that could be true. Both could be true simultaneously. You can still get pussy. The question is, how much do you got in your pocket? You know, so you can either pay the whole. You don't necessarily have to have a yacht, but trust me, having a yacht is definitely a plus.
I feel like
having a yacht, having a Ferrari, having some look, straight up and down. I'll honestly say, if you just have the money, if you could just afford, look, it's not about if she's your type. It's about whether you can afford her, bro, out here.
Yeah. And it's the home. It's the home.
The prices range. The prices range. Hey, the prices range. Hey, prices range. The prices range, bro. You'd be so surprised you could get for a little bit of change.
Man, you ain't gonna find no. I mean, that's the land of bad bitches and rich niggas. Like, and this is why I understand what you hoes out there. Why are you gonna take your regular fat funky ass to Miami to try to be somebody? Do you know how many bad bitches is down there? That's a waste of life.
Yo, bro, there's a market for everything, bro. There's a market for everything. There's a market for everything. Hey, they gotta find a way to afford it to come out here, bro. Yo, you'd be surprised.
Man, you know, Callie, I really appreciate you gracing the platform. But like, what would you say Black people culture really is at this stage?
Oh, you didn't hear what I summed it up for earlier? I originally believed Black culture was I got you. Basically, I believe Black culture essentially, well, I believe the skeleton or the foundation which is hanging on for dear life. But when I say Black culture on a positive scale, is based off of Baptist Christian beliefs that's built off of their experience in America.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I believe the skeleton is. But right now, I do believe the fat and the muscle of what's covering the skeleton, what's covering the foundation, is a lot of negativity and a lot of COINTELPRO propaganda. The whole reading rainbow, the whole, pushing that, because they put how basically the Reading Rainbow Coalition basically hijacked the civil rights movement, how essentially, the Civil Rights Act of 1965 basically it encouraged our women to take welfare and child support over having a Black man in the country. The fact of how, how essentially how integration basically allowed mass incarceration of Black men, because once you add someone into society, the only way for other people to thrive, like for example, a lot of reason why there's a lot of retired police officers or retired firemen, where these people were the ones they put against the newly Black people who were coming into these cities like New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, and places, right? So, through the fact of, rap and culture and the fact of keeping a Black man out of the house and not having a matriarch and not having any order, having, kids out of wedlock, having kids without any direction, without any fathers, that, is basically what Black culture, what the remnants of Black culture is now. Unfortunately, there are Black people who are the exception to the rule. Unfortunately, just what they promote is what, I just discussed. So that's what I think about Black culture. I do believe that there is a glimmer of light in there. It's just being blinded by the fact that the Sexy Reds and all the other little bullshit that they got. The Sexy Reds and Nas X's and shit like that.
Understood. Yeah, man, it's real subjective, depending on what people care about. I focus on what we can have more of to attract the people that's already got the same things, right? What we really discuss and bring to the conversation most times is nuance. Things that we know exist, but we have to be careful about how much we talk about them, because we can make them the norm. Because once you have like authority in your voice, you have to be very careful about what you discuss. You gotta almost gotta keep your pet peeves private. And
What you mean?
What I mean,
can you give an example?
It's certain people you don't want to hear their pet peeves, because they're not qualified to solve the problem. Like if you don't have a solution, you probably shouldn't be talking about the problem. Because sometimes you can make a problem worse when you got the wrong person talking about it. Like I was watching. Have you seen Ryan Coogler's National Geographic documentary about Hurricane Katrina?
I've seen like pieces of it, but like only like on social media. But I have not watched it.
Well, there was a part in there where the police chief said that there were snipers in the city, and he was talking about people firing their weapons to try to get the attention of the first responders that was on helicopters. And what he didn't realize was the terminology that he used in terms of sniper. When he brought that up, it triggered a different response at the federal level. So they start bringing in active duty troops, and they start waving off a lot of the rescue effort, because they're not going to put aircraft in service if there's a sniper threat while they're trying to evacuate the city.
Right.
So you got to know the terminology you're using, your audience, and who's qualified to use certain words. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's never worked in a mechanic shop should not be telling mechanics what to do. someone that's worked in a bakery, just because they've been in charge of other people on different capacities, that don't mean that they know what goes on in a bakery, right? Well, when it comes down to culture, you can't let everybody speak for you. You can't. Everybody got somebody in the family that can't speak for the family.
Okay.
Everybody got somebody in the family that can't let in their house because they steal.
So let me ask you a question. What do you mean by speak? Like, be a little specific.
I guess represent.
Like, for example, do you think, like, for example, a white person cannot say something that's actually true about the Black community, and is it because
No,
he's white that he can't say something, or what?
no,
Like,
I
what do
think
you?
anybody can say anything. I think it's on
Okay.
the user to take what's being said in the right context. Because there
Okay.
could be anything that's out there. Like you can put drugs everywhere. You can make all drugs legal today. I'm not gonna become a cocaine or a heroin addict at all.
Okay.
I don't care what drugs you put out there. You can make the most exotic drug legal. I have no desire to put it in my body.
Right.
I'm not waiting on that.
I can
But
honestly even say when they made dispensaries, even though I smoke, I even had to look at that shit sideways, like.
yeah, that's my point. It's like, yo,
I'm like,
come on, man. Like you get in there, all of a sudden you got some weird ass Delta 8 when you've been getting whatever you've been getting from your guy.
from the streets. Mm-hmm.
Come on. It's been solid from the way that you've been getting it, but all of a sudden you want to change the way you go get it. The dispensary don't represent the culture of people that smoke weed.
It's something
It,
else.
yeah, no, dispensaries to me
Something else.
it's something else. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing negative to say about it, but I don't speak to that. So I'm not the right person to speak on what a dispensary is supposed to be. You feel me? Because it's some people that might have grown up around that, and in that culture in its entirety, and everything they do is processed through the way a dispensary runs.
Right. No
But
doubt.
like when it come down the street, I don't want to smoke nothing that I ain't see you roll up yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody got different protocol. You know what I'm saying? So what I mean is like having enough discipline to listen to people, but take what they say on a case by case basis
With a grain of salt.
with a grain of salt, man. That's just the point. Everybody can't speak
Oh,
for everybody.
ultimately, it's important for everyone to have their own philosophy. You know what I'm saying? But just like any good idea, if someone tells you something that is a good idea, you might check it out. It might be a really great idea. That might be a good way to look at things. That's kind of why us men. It's important to have a fellowship. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy Sky Daddy 4444. He
Yep.
says, a fellowship is 2 men or more. Women are not included. Women are not included in the fellowship. Women are only good at, taking direction, and you being a manager. Remember, man, manage. You're the man and you're the manager. All right.
Yep.
Manage her. So guess what? A man is 2 men or more. Doesn't have to be a lot of men. It could be 2 men or more, fellas, to have a fellowship and to have, to set principles and to share ideas. That way you can navigate this world, because I believe one of the problems that our fathers didn't have, they didn't have anyone to talk to about this stuff.
I agree.
A lot of the problems that we had in relationship, I believe that we had to kind of take it out. We had to kind of accept it ourselves. I truly believe that if some of our fathers knew it was probably better just to maybe get a divorce or just to get married and maybe then divorced, they probably would have made that decision if they would have had someone who they were able to discuss that situation with.
Communion is necessary at every level. You know what I'm saying? So, man, Callie, I appreciate you, like coming by, gracing the
You're
platform.
right.
I saw that you
Yes,
got a
again.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday stream. Anything you want to leave the audience with? Because I
No, nothing much. Like I said, I had a little bit of time. So I went a little bit over. So I'm about to go, probably hit the streets or something like that. Shit. Other than that,
Yeah.
man, just shout out to saying to Facebook, aka Facebook, everybody out here. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you're feeling this shit.
Yes, sir. Man, hey.
So yeah, I appreciate y'all. Shout out to Don Trey, aka Don Trey the Misfit, and shout out to Victor with accountable masculinity. Yeah, y'all gotta come check me out Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays between 8 and 10:30. That's Eastern Standard Time. Sundays around the same time. So I appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
Salute,
Send
my
the
G.
link, man. We pulling up, bro. I appreciate you.
You already know, boy. Gone.
All right, man. We out. All right, folks. Appreciate you sticking with me to the end. This has been another episode of Beyond the Algorithm. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Go get the book. And most importantly, I will see you beyond the algorithm. That's where life actually happens.